Well, thank you for joining us here on THV 11 Plus. I am Hoyt. Let's get the weekend wrap-up done for you on this pleasant weekend. The biggest headline in the state this week, of course, also making national news. Friday morning, the FBI now offering a $20,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of prison escapee Grant Hardin. A multi-day search has found no signs of the former law enforcement officer who managed to walk out of the North Central Prison Unit in Calico Rock Sunday afternoon. He's been serving an 80-year sentence for murder and rape. It's leading investigators to caution that Harden should be considered extremely dangerous. CBS News' Ian Lee reports from near the prison.
This is the type of terrain investigators are searching. Wet, rocky ground covered by dense trees in the Ozark Mountains in northern Arkansas. From above, you can see just some of the vast forest police believe Grant Hardin could be hiding in.
Just moving through these mountains is difficult. It is muddy, it is slick, the vegetation is incredibly dense, but there's also thousands of caves, caverns, and hiding places like this one.
Yeah, it's a scary situation.
78-year-old Victor Stanley has lived in Calico Rock his whole life and on this 30-acre property for 3 decades. Are you staying vigilant?
My wife keeps the door locked. We've got 2 doors, we keep them locked. I got a gun in there if I need it.
His home is just 3 miles from the prison. Stanley used to work there as a guard. What went through your head when you heard that someone escaped from that prison?
I didn't understand how he got through, but the weather and whatever played a big thing in it.
Investigators say the poor weather has made flying helicopters and drones much more difficult, and the rain has made it hard for search dogs looking for a scent. Now agents are looking into whether Grant Hardin's job in the prison kitchen played any role in his escape, but so far all leads they've received have led nowhere. If Harden is still in these woods, the hundreds of people looking for him aren't his only concern. It is also home to venomous snakes, spiders, wild boars, and bears. Ian Lee, CBS News, Calico Rock, Arkansas.
And again, the reward for information has been doubled by the FBI. It sits at $20,000 for any info that helps find Harden. If you spot him, do not approach him. Just call police. Meanwhile, a couple of weeks back, we told you about the disappearance of a Pine Bluff mother of 3. Well, now, Joynell Brandon's family and friends continue to wait for answers, according to Pine Bluff police. Brandon has been missing since Tuesday, May 13th, last seen on University Avenue in Pine Bluff. Police give us these details in a written statement. The department says detectives are still working diligently on the case, asking for anyone with information to call their detectives. We've got their contact information on thv11.com. The number of measles cases in the state has ticked up once again. We sit at 7 this weekend. Health officials say at least one of those cases came through contact in the community. 6 confirmed here in central Arkansas, Faulkner and Saline counties. Symptoms include fever, cough, runny nose, red eyes, and a blotchy rash. The health department urges anyone exposed to stay home and keep an eye out for symptoms. And they also recommend getting the MMR vaccine and getting up to date with any boosters. The giant pharmacy benefit managers targeted by Arkansas's new law called Act 624, they are now suing to block it from taking effect. CVS and Express Scripts warn that thousands of patients will lose access. THV 11's Maya Ellison tackled this story just last week, just before the companies filed their lawsuit.
I'm proud that Arkansas is leading on this issue. For far too long, the PBMs have been the drug middleman and frankly passed the cost on to the consumer.
That was Governor Sanders back in April when she shared her support for the then newly signed House Bill 1150, now known as Act 624.
Act 624 is actually a pretty relatively simple piece of legislation to explain. It just says you can't be both a price setter and a price taker.
It's a law introduced to target PBMs. They sit in the middle between patient insurance and pharmacies.
And they set the price of what the medicine costs. They decide which pharmacies a patient can use.
Arkansas Pharmacists Association CEO John Vinson broke down the language of the law. He explains that businesses like CVS, who own their own PBM, could potentially see the impacts.
Kroger has given up their PBM license and has chosen to be neutral on the legislation, versus CVS has not been, well, on TV commercials and in the paper and during the legislative session, they'd made statements that they would have to close their pharmacies.
It's a choice that's leaving many Arkansans with questions. So we reached out to CVS. They say because of the law, the state is forcing them to close 23 pharmacies and lay off more than 500 workers. That's led some to believe they're closing their doors. But in a statement shared with THV11, CVS says, quote, "We have not announced any plans to close stores, and we're evaluating any and all options we may have to keep our pharmacies open."
They're giving these companies a choice. You can sell, you can divest.
With Act 624 going into effect January 1st, 2026, CVS officials go on to say, quote, "Small businesses, employers, health plans, and others are going to have to pay more for prescription drugs starting next year." But Vincent says otherwise.
I believe it would create jobs, it would increase the number of pharmacies, and it would increase access at lower prices for consumers.
In Little Rock, Maya Ellison, THV11 News.
Maya, thank you. Now, the two lawsuits filed late this week claim the new law is unconstitutional because it discriminates against out-of-state businesses like CVS and Express Scripts. Attorney General Tim Griffin is gearing up to defend the law in federal court. It won't be the first time an Arkansas Attorney General has had to face down the major PBMs. His predecessor, the now Lieutenant Governor Leslie Rutledge, won a case challenging an earlier law that restricted the drug middlemen. That case went all the way to the Supreme Court, who ruled 8-0 that the Arkansas law could stand. But state leaders like Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders say this new law is more about breaking up the monopolies that keep drug prices high. Well, as of this week, COVID-19 vaccines are no longer recommended for healthy children and pregnant women. U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said in a post that he has removed the shots from the CDC's guidelines for those groups. Some public health leaders have called that move concerning. The CDC officials are reassuring everyone that questions about the announcement should be referred to the Department of Health and Human Services. Neighbors in a fast-growing part of Little Rock say they're feeling abandoned. They had a meeting Thursday night. They came together to convey their feelings of being unsafe and lacking trust in local law enforcement. THV11's Catherine Rowley went to that meeting. She shows us how the police department responded.
The overwhelming complaint I heard last night is little to no police presence in Southwest Little Rock, and it's leading to more and more crime. Now with police at that meeting, those people are asking to build a relationship to help make their neighborhood safe again.
But back in the 90s, I lived in Southwest and it was safe, and now it's gotten worse.
Norma Huffman is the president of the Southwest chapter of Arkansas Community Organization. She feels over the years how officers police the area has changed.
We had mounted police, we had bike police, we had foot patrol. We don't have that anymore. We as residents don't feel safe.
Valencia White echoes that thought, but she feels if they build back trust and relationships between the community and police, things could be changed.
We here. We're not going anywhere, but we need them to show up. We don't feel safe in our own community, and they're supposed to protect and serve.
Little Rock Police also in attendance Thursday. Mark Edwards, public information officer for the department, says conversations like this are important to them.
Well, anytime you can work with the community and hear their concerns, address their concerns, that's what we're here for. And we met with this group in January, and the concerns they had in January were addressed the next quarterly meeting.
Back in January, Little Rock saw an alarming 8 homicides to the start of the year. That number now at 24.
Homicides are concerning. They're concerning for us, definitely.
Edwards says LRPD will continue to hold quarterly meetings to hear what the needs are and address them and build the relationships.
But numbers are all we have to go on. It tells us where we need to focus our resources. And so having meetings like this and dialogue like this definitely helps.
In Little Rock, Catherine Rowley, THV 11 News.
Happening this week, that no-tech trial run continues to roll out through more Arkansas schools. THV11's Rebecca Brown takes us to Pine Bluff, where students and staff experience their first days in class phone-free.
You got a phone?
Thank you.
You already put it in your pouch? Okay.
Here in Pine Bluff, students lined up to lock away their phones, slipping them into yonder pouches for a trial run that's dialing in a new normal.
It was kind of hard, to be honest, because I need my phone for a lot of reasons, but it was all right.
It's going to take some time to get used to it.
Superintendent Jennifer Barbree says picking this day to start didn't happen overnight. It took weeks of planning to get here.
We formed a committee, a no cell phones at the school committee. And in our committee, we had students, teachers, parents, administrators, and board members.
This aligns with the new Bill to Build No Cell Phone Act. Leaders at both the state and school level are hopeful it will help students stay more engaged in learning.
Think about the social anxiety that students have. Just what social media causes as well. And so maybe more training on what you see is not always the truth. I think that my goal would be to really teach students what the use of a cell phone should be, that it can be entertainment, but it shouldn't be your only entertainment.
And students had some thoughts of their own.
Something that'll be big for us is probably like if the band come out here and like play sometimes. Like we have like student-led activities.
Out here.
During lunch? During lunch?
We do like a walk or something.
Okay.
Beyond the phone policy, another big shift, Pine Bluff's year-round school calendar begins this year, with Wednesday offering just a glimpse of what students will experience more often starting in July.
The hope is that we give more information to our parents and our community about this is the law. We're going to follow the law. We're going to provide as much support for our students as we can.
In Pine Bluff,
Thank you.
Rebecca Brown, THV11 News.
Rebecca, thanks. And one more note along the lines of what the superintendent was saying there at the end. The district surveyed students to ask them how they felt about all of this. And as the process moves forward, the district hopes to form student groups to keep the conversation going. And as the school year starts to come to a close, many local groups are looking for ways to keep kids fed as we go through the summer months. The Arkansas Martin Luther King Jr. Commission launched an initiative to help battle food insecurity. They call it Operation Appreciation. Earlier this week, we saw them in downtown Little Rock, helping folks who lined up to get free food boxes for their families, no questions asked.
We know food insecurity doesn't stop during the school year, and it goes on into the summer. So we rely on volunteers and donations and the community to come together to make sure our students go hungry and they have a place to get a nice meal.
Of course, you know, keeping kids fed over the summer is close to our heart here at THV11. There are free food programs through the EBT program and Central Arkansas Library, but THV11 is proud to start our 25th annual summer cereal drive this coming week. Chief Meteorologist Tom Brannon hitting 25 drop-off locations this summer, collecting cereal alongside the Arkansas Food Bank. The first steps Monday in Maumelle and Sherwood. Come by, say hi, help us reach our goal of 500,000 boxes. And if you want a closer look at the locations, text the word cereal to 501-376-1111 and we will send a link directly to your phone.
We can't say the youth is our future, but we don't do anything different.
The city of Pine Bluff fighting to protect young people there and seeing some impressive results. How that approach is leading to real change and a record worth celebrating is coming up. Pine Bluff has had to turn the page on its past and focus on its young people through community-driven efforts trying to fight crime. And it appears some of those efforts are paying off. THV11's Tamer Knight shows us how a new strategy is changing the narrative there and saving lives.
We were at out of control numbers of young people being involved in gun violence and most horrifically losing the lives of young people who had everything to live for.
For decades, Pine Bluff has long been identified as a place that sees a lot of crime.
If you stay at home and stay out of harm's way, you stand a good chance of staying alive. But if you get caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, you can get locked up, so you're not going to be free.
When people think about the success of law enforcement, they often tie it to putting someone in jail.
So it can't be just about arresting kids. It can't be just about putting kids in juvenile detention. That is not how we save them. Where it's necessary, that has been done, but where it is most critical is the young people in need of wraparound services, the young people in need of monitoring, the young people in need of mentoring.
But in order to deal with the long-term effect of crime, you must first face prevention.
We can't say the youth is our future, but we don't do anything different.
In 2024, city leaders and community leaders decided it was time for meaningful change. The Group Violence Intervention Program was born. GVI, as it's also called, is a form of community policing that's centered around the Homicide Pressure Campaign.
We do custom notifications with law enforcement, social worker, and credible messenger and caseworkers. We go out and we say, okay, we're not coming here to arrest you, but we coming here to let you know that if you continue the violence, then there's going to be some extra pressure put on you from the GVI staff and the law enforcement.
The campaign aims to shift life outcomes from negative to positive for youth growing up in Pine Bluff,
where we target some of those same kids that's in that 5%. Once they get targeted at a young age, they're the ones that graduate to the adult side, and those are some of the same victims that we end up having. They either come up deceased or have something to do with gun violence.
Now, this isn't just about crime prevention, but also creating positive change in the community. The Gun Violence Intervention Program focuses on youth 12 to 17, and at last check, Pine Bluff has gone more than 500 days without a juvenile homicide, a milestone in a community once plagued by violence. For THV 11 News, I'm Tamer Knight.
Tamer, thank you. Hey, let's take a closer look here now. Doctors at UAMS are reminding everyone installing child seats properly can be the difference between life and death. And at a car seat clinic this past week, UAMS says they are seeing a growing number of injuries that come from counterfeit car seats as they come into the hospital. According to physicians there, families get those seats from reputable sites, and then shortly after leaving, they figure out that those car seats end up out of code with federal requirements. And that's on top of installation mistakes.
You always want to make sure that they have the chest strap at the at the nipple line, that they are appropriately fastened into the 5-point harness, and that when you look at the car seat again, it's important to make sure that the manufacturer labels on the side.
If you get a secondhand car seat or hand one down from an older child, make sure you've got all the pieces and nothing's missing. That can often be the biggest red flag that the product is out of date or unsafe. Well, it's not quite summertime, but before we get there, we want to debunk some of those popular summertime myths. So we went all the way to Minnesota and found Susan Elizabeth Littlefield tackling some big ones, including that one, how long you have to wait before you get back in the pool after you eat.
Ready, set, go. It's the season to sun.
I am so pale. I'm like Irish pale.
Swim.
I love being under the water.
Me too. And savor flavors.
Watermelon, hot dogs, and some steak on the grill.
But that melon can be ominous.
I've heard if you swallow like specifically the black seeds, it will like grow inside of you.
Had you ever heard that?
Oh yeah.
It's a warning you've likely heard too.
We're gonna myth bust right now. The watermelon ain't gonna grow in your belly.
And he would know. Dr. Krish is a pediatrician with Hennepin Healthcare who fields lots of summer questions around advice like this.
When I was your age, there used to be a rumor that you had to wait 1 hour after you ate to get in the pool.
Why?
Exactly. Sounds like torture.
Yeah.
Even his 9-year-old daughter knows it just doesn't make sense.
If I eat my lunch, then I think I could just go back in and have some more fun.
She's right.
So I'm never gonna tell you to not listen to your mother, okay? However, unfortunately in this case, there is no scientific evidence to say you have to.
I love it. Okay, kids, just jump right in.
Yeah, don't listen to your mother. Listen to your mother.
But.
Yes, but yes,
it's okay.
You can.
And about that sunscreen.
I think it's a myth that those of us with darker complexion don't need sunscreen. It's really important we wear sunscreen as well. So anyone all the time when you're going out and getting direct sun exposure should be getting a good sunscreen, SPF 30 or higher.
So even though you may not see a sunburn, it could be damaging the skin cells.
Skin cancer can occur in all skin types.
As for those in pursuit of the sun, you may have heard this.
Usually I have to burn and then wait for it to fade to get the tan. I kind of have to just wait it out and like use the tanning hormone. I kind of burn first and then it'll turn to a tan.
But he offers caution.
Any burn is not good for your skin. It is a sign of the skin cells breaking down and then sort of regenerating.
We will keep those in mind. Up next, sweet treats and booming bass. How one Arkansas man's neighborhood ice cream truck is going viral.
Ice cream inside a snow cone. Need I say more? This week on Eat It Up, we're at Cold Bites in Bryant. Y'all, it's after Memorial Day. It's summertime. Kids are out of school. What do they want? They want snow cones. They want ice cream. Let me tell you what, Cold Bites is gonna offer them something they have never had before. Let me just say this, hear me out, pickle sushi. You gotta see it to believe it. So what do you say? Let's eat it up.
This is our second season. We opened last year, and the reason behind it is just I wanted to bring something fun to the area, especially here in the park. Nothing more perfect than snow cones in a park. I come from a Mexican background. I am a Mexican myself, and so we wanted to include that in our menu. So portions of it come with a little bit of spicy and sourness, yeah, savory. So we layer our snow cone syrup. This is our homemade sweet cream, and then we have a strawberry puree with fresh strawberries in them. Pickle sushi is something that my son actually came up with. Pickle rolled up in fruit roll up. And we dip it in our homemade specialty chili powder, and you combine that with hot Cheetos and gummy bears. And then we have a side of our chamoy that's also homemade.
I feel like I'm going back to 2003. Pickle wrapped in a fruit roll-up with special sauce. A little bit of heat right after that. A little bit of heat. I got the Cheeto on the left side, I got the gummy bear on the right side. I keep going back. It's always like people will say you eat something that makes you smile. This will make you laugh. You will eat it and laugh at how good it is and how crazy the flavors are. Ice cream inside the snow cone. It's a revolution. I know Madeline and Tanner are watching right now and they are so mad that I came here without them. Sorry fam, love you.
Let's stay in the ice cream lane, maybe without the pickled fruit roll-ups. You know, anyone who's ever chased down the ice cream truck thought, hey, let's get that thing, get a nice ice cream cone. That music is so magical. And then you wonder, how many times do you have to actually listen to Row, Row, Row Your Boat before you actually lose your mind? Well, THV11's Carter Thweet found a guy who's figured out his dream job came by mixing ice cream treats with bass-bumping beats, and now he's going viral for it.
Right here is the speaker that everybody's going crazy about.
It's been 5 years since Joseph King of Jacksonville got the idea.
I hadn't seen an ice cream truck in so long, and I was like, I need to bring that back. Yeah. Then I talked to a few friends about it. They was like, man, that's you all day long. You need to do that.
But Joseph knew to stand out, he needed something original. So while his ice cream cools you down, the volume on his speaker is all the way up. Last week, his bass-boosted version of The Entertainer caught the attention of Jacksonville resident Cheyenne Reed.
I remembered that I had my security camera because I was like, no one's gonna believe me. that ice cream truck sounded like that. And so that was just kind of it, and I just posted it.
Ice cream truck?
Hold on, I don't know.
It's been 5 days since then, and the video has now been viewed over 3 million times with nearly 900,000 likes.
It's 3 or 4 days later, and I'm still getting likes and comments and shares, and it's just been kind of wild.
Wild is a word Joseph says he would use too, saying this isn't something he ever expected.
It just felt like a regular night of selling ice cream.
But he's happy with how it's all working out.
That's a real good feeling, a really good feeling. Something I've been waiting on for a long time.
In Jacksonville, Carter Thweet, THV 11 News.
And if you want to explain to your local ice cream truck why you've rushed off to Jacksonville, that's where you'll find Joseph. He drives around there pretty much every day. You can also connect with him on social media. That information is all on thv11.com. Don't swipe right just yet. It'll do it for our weekend wrap up here on THV 11 Plus. We do want to thank you for joining us and remind you to have a great weekend.